yourself.
All right, people, and of course, it's time for Exploring Buddhist Concepts right here on New Era Chichi Radio. And yeah, this is where we join Kasi Senghor. So just before we get into it, okay. Kasi, how you doing? Good day to you. I'm here with you. Don't worry. You wasn't seeing me, so you was worried.
Yeah, boy.
Well, it's good to have you inside.
It seems that you have to go through a whole new ritual to get to download my WhatsApp on my laptop because I haven't used it since last year.
Okay.
You understand? With all the moving and all that now. But anyway, I'm ready to go.
All right. Well, we are ready for you to go. So, welcome inside of the new year, first of all.
Thank you.
In spite of everything, I know you had some challenges in the last year. It's good to know that you made it into the new year, and I wish you all success and good health going forward.
You're sure right. Made it into the new year is right. Well, good morning to everybody and Happy New Year to all the listeners. And this morning, in spite of the little time that has elapsed since 11 o'clock, we will be getting my full program because I really prepared for this morning and evening revising the content. That is a meditation in itself, and that is my theme for this morning, meditation. So I begin with an aspiration, the opening aspiration from what we call the joy of living. The aspiration is, with boundless compassion and wisdom, I will work for the welfare of all. May we be free from hunger and discord and have joy and a world at peace. The theme being meditation, I have divided it into, I think, 4 parts. The first part, well, really and truly, I was hoping to use the video, but thank goodness I also wrote down the relevant points from the video by Kandro Rinpoche. Now, she is one of our great teachers, one of our masters, and what she has said about what is meditation is this, is that it comes from the word gom, which means to become familiar with yourself. Training and becoming familiar with your mind by learning to be observant, to observe what you are seeing, what you are thinking, nothing much to do besides watching it, and to be very careful in your observation, because without that, you never really know yourself. What follows naturally is a mindful approach, the approach of awareness, the foundation of understanding the whole process and why one should meditate. So just let me go back to that point about knowing yourself and knowing your mind. I remember in around 1970 there, when I was just becoming what they call, when they say, you're becoming conscious. And I was just entering into the Black Power theme and organization and that sort of thing. And I embossed, if you all remember that machine from way back when, I embossed the words, man, know thyself, and stuck it on the dashboard of my car. I even misspelled the word consciousness, and that had my uncle and another lady sort of laughing at me because I misspelled the word consciousness. Nevertheless, That has been in my mind for a long time, even before I embossed it, of course. Because one of the things that I learned is that those words were written on the walls of the pyramid in Egypt. Of course, at that time and earlier on in school, I didn't even know that Egypt was in Africa. I thought Egypt was somewhere else. But nevertheless, when I began to gradually learn that Egypt is in North Africa, the consciousness grew as it grew. So here it is that um, Kanjo Rinpoche, talking about meditation, I'll just reread a part of it. She said that what is meditation? In short, it is learning to become observant, to observe what you are seeing, what you are thinking, nothing much to do besides watching it, and to be very careful in your observation because without that, you never really know yourself. What follows from this observation gradually by meditating morning and evening regularly, maybe at the same time every day, for a certain amount of time daily, what follows naturally is a mindful approach, the approach of awareness. Now, know those two words, mindful and awareness, the foundation of understanding the whole process and why one should meditate. Now, if you are seated and you can be seated upright, um, I will ask you to just join me in doing a 1 minute, as it were, a 1 minute meditation. All right, it's already 11:22, but I think I can get through the content that I prepared for today by about 11:45 or so. All right, so just join me by sitting upright, not too stiff, not too slack. Keep the spine straight and the head erect, slightly bent, and still begin to observe what is happening in the mind. Of course, lots of thoughts are going to come and lots of thoughts are going to go. Our mission is to allow them to come and allow them to go. Observe them then as um, Kendro Rinpoche has said just now. Simply observe. Don't try to change, don't try to chase them away, don't try to adjust them. Let us begin. Just 1 minute, and that is all that we need. Simply observe what is taking place in the mind as we sit still and silent, body erect. Now, having observed that over the last minute or so, we go into the question of why meditate. And here again, it is my intention to play the video by Ringu Tulku Rinpoche as to why we should meditate. Again, luckily, fortunately, I have um, written it down. I wrote it down in preparation for today. And Ringu Tulku Rinpoche says, to be, why we meditate is to be able to manage our reactions, our emotions, and to have in one's own hands one's stability and one's own happiness. Note those two words here again: stability and happiness. The stability is not about having no thoughts, it's not about driving thoughts away, but it's about experiencing the activities of mind. Now, we all know that coming to mind are activities that are both negative and positive. What Ringo Tulku is asking us, is telling us as to why we must meditate, he suggests that we let those thoughts come and let them go. And when you have confidence that you are able to do that, you won't be disturbed by too much. You know, we are constantly living in that state where thoughts are just coming and going, and we think that that is quite normal, and we just grab at the thought and follow it, or thought grabs us and overwhelms us, and we just sort of like helpless then, you know, and we call them my thoughts. We chase after them, and that leads us to suffering because we are not really in control. So he says, let these thoughts come and let them go. And when you have confidence that you are able to do that, you won't be disturbed too much. That is called stability of the mind. And what is the technique, he says? Learn how to relax the mind. Make the mind clear and awake. Awake, Buddha means awake. So make the mind clear and awake and be in the present moment, because the tensions are because of the clinging to the past or because of anticipating the future. So if we can understand that we cling to the past and we anticipate the future and we are able not to hold on to them, then tranquility and peace occur in the present moment, in the now. That is what Ringo Tulku says in his video of under 7 minutes concerning why we should meditate. Here again, I invite you to sit for another minute or two, contemplating what we just heard from Ringo Tulku as to why we should meditate. Let the thoughts come, let them abide, and let them go. This is the natural cycle of thoughts. To come, to stay for a while, and to disappear. Just allow thoughts to do that. Don't try to adjust. Don't try to cling. Don't try to avoid. Just simply observe. Let them come. Let them go. Okay. So we go on now to some of the hindrances to meditation. And I would like to read a list of these hindrances according to Buddhist philosophy, according to Buddhist scripture. It says here in the book, What the Buddha Taught by Walpola Rahula. I have been using this book from the time I began this program last year in April. It says here, then there is a form of meditation. Meditation is in inverted commas. Then there is a form of meditation on ethical, spiritual, and intellectual subjects. All our studies, reading, discussions, conversation, and deliberations on such subjects are included in this form of meditation, again in inverted commas. To read this book and to think deeply about the subjects discussed in it is a form of meditation. I even remember telling Sir Charles this morning, because he told me, he was telling me to go ahead with my content. Don't worry about the linking and getting in and so on, just work on the content. And I replied to him that I had done my content since Tuesday. And ever since then, I've been revising the content. And even in the revision, I found that to be a meditation in itself. Here, in that what I just read, that is confirmed. All our studies, reading, discussions, conversation, deliberations on such subjects are included in this meditation. To read this book or to revise my content, I could say, and to think deeply about the subjects, and today's subject is meditation, is a form of meditation in itself. So the five hindrances listed in the book are lustful desires, ill will, hatred, or anger, torpor and languor, restlessness and worry, and skeptical doubts. Now let me just tell you what torpor is. Torpor, from the dictionary, torpor is sluggishness, inactivity or inertia, lethargic indifference, apathy, a state of suspended physical powers and activities. That is torpor. Languor is the lack of energy or vitality, sluggishness, lack of spirit or interest, physical weakness or faintness. When I check this thesaurus, they are both interchangeable in a sense. Languor and torpor. So let me just read those five hindrances again. Lustful desires, one of the hindrances that I personally have had to deal with over time. Still dealing with them, bit by bit. And ill will, hatred, or anger. Sometimes people can still push the button, and I will still erupt into anger. I must admit, working on it, working on it. While I still meditate and practice daily, saying that so that you don't think that you do this for a few weeks and voila, these things are no longer with us. No, they continue on and we continue on just the same, the practice. Torpor and languor, restlessness and worry, skeptical doubt. You know what those are. Okay. So these five are considered as hindrances to any kind of clear understanding. As a matter of fact, to any kind of progress. And I can tell you that for sure. You know, even in your natural day-to-day life, even if you're not a meditator, you can certainly see for yourself where these hindrances hinder our progress in life, keep us back from attaining the things that we really want to have, you know, whether it be good companionship, whether it be changing job or changing in accommodation where we live, whatever that we say we want, as long as these hindrances persist, and especially if they persist in large measure, we are going to be kept back. We are going to find that we are, well, use the same word, we are hindered in our life's movement. As a matter of fact, these hindrances are hindrances to any kind of progress. When one is overpowered by them, and when one doesn't know how to get rid of them, then one cannot understand right and wrong or good and bad. On the other hand, we now well, let's just go a little meditation on that before, a little 1 minute and then before we move on to some of the benefits. Let us contemplate those hindrances and see where they exist in our lives. 1 minute to 2 minutes again. Sitting upright, feet on the ground, contemplate what the thoughts as they come and go. And if hindrances come up or if you want to bring them up, that's okay. Just allow them to be seen, allow them to abide, and let them pass. Okay, so we move on now to the well, for want of a better way, we say we move on to the benefits. Now, through the parameter of meditation, the word parameter here in this context, I will I will ask you to simply see it as meaning perfection. In other words, the perfection of meditation. In other words, the continuous practice of meditating daily, maybe at the same time every day, for the same amount of time until we gradually get the hang of it, so to speak, and we can increase our time from 1 minute to 3 to 5 to 10 to half an hour each time. For the purpose of the program, I am only using a minute. Some of you may be already meditators, and maybe you're already meditating for more than a minute, thankfully, and some of you might even be meditating for half an hour daily. This is excellent. Hear what is said in this book now, which is called Indestructible Truth. And this book is written by Rosemary Ray. Through the parameter, which I said is the perfection of meditation, one trains again and again in bringing one's attention back to the breath. All right? Now, this morning we have not used the breath as a foundation. What we have used is what the Rinpoches said about observation and about letting go. But coming back to the breath is what beginners do. Okay? We follow or we count the breath as beginners. They have give us a sort of foundation for coming back to the breath. And I have said it before in previous programs that what we do when we accompany the breath or following the breath, we count from 1 to 10, or if you wish, 1 to 7 as a beginner. And along the way, you will find that you have strayed. This is only natural because that is how we have been living our lives, straying all the time into the bypaths of many thoughts. So when we come back to the breath, we are actually beginning to observe what is happening, which is what Kendo Rinpoche has asked us to do, to observe. And we are also doing what Rinpoche has asked us to do, which is to let go. So we are observing what is happening in mind, and we are also letting go of the thoughts that come in between. So we do that by coming back to the breath every time. Okay? Let me read that sentence again. Through the perfection of meditation, one trains again and again in bringing one's attention back to the breath, acknowledging and then letting go of thoughts when they arise, learning to be more and more fully present to one's object of mindfulness. The mindfulness practice in the meditation cushion. All right? I've asked you to sit erect and upright. This is called sitting on the meditation cushion. We actually do have a cushion that we use to help us keep the legs a bit slanted downwards and to make us as comfortable as possible. Remember, we are sitting erect but not stiff. The mindfulness practice on the meditation cushion, so to speak, is then easily and naturally transferred to one's ordinary life. So this practice of meditation, which I am encouraging here this morning again and again, is not just for sitting on the cushion, but is to be used in our ordinary daily living. When with others, and this is very important, when with others, particularly in difficult situations that one would rather avoid, one brings oneself back again and again, back to the breath study. All right? Later on, when we have confidence in our meditation, we can bring ourselves back to other anchors, so to speak. But now the breath is our anchor. We can bring ourselves back to sound. We can bring ourselves back to listening. We can bring ourselves back to touch, any one of those senses, or we can use an object of meditation to bring ourselves back. But now we are bringing ourselves back again and again to the breath. It is precisely when one is fully present to the situation that one can see possibility and can then engage the parameters of generosity. There are 5 other parameters besides meditation, and bring and then engage the parameters of generosity, discipline, patience, and exertion. Those are 4. The last parameter is the parameter of wisdom, and that deserves an entire program by itself, or programs, I would say. In this fruition stage, in other words, when it becomes right, then when we have gained confidence and we are meditating naturally and normally daily, the parameter of meditation involves a continual awareness in which one sees situations with clarity and warmth. Here, one rests naturally and spontaneously in the Buddha nature, right? Or in the essence of life. Sadhguru Tulku writes, the mind falls naturally into its fundamental state, unobscured by thoughts of the three times, by memories, by thoughts of the present, or by anticipation of what may arise in the future. End of quote. At this stage, meditation provides the vast and unbroken field of awareness within which the other relative parameters can appear spontaneously as called for by situations. So that if you're in a situation where generosity is called for, because of practicing over and over the meditation on the cushion, generosity arises without you having to even think about it, or discipline, or patience, as the case might be. So that is my preparation for this morning. It could have been more extensive, I know, but I hope that the little nuggets will suffice for today. Today being the first day that I've come back, and that the Buddhist community has come back to explore Buddhist concepts. I end now by uh, reciting our closing dedication. By the power of this compassionate practice, may suffering be transferred into peace. May the hearts of all beings be open and their wisdom radiate from within. I hope that the few minutes of meditation have been helpful. You can go back to them on your own. You can chime into the video that Sir Charles will produce. Let's look to the BBC. Today's date, the 15th of January 2026, and you can revise or reuse what has been said here this morning. I want to thank Sir Charles. I want to thank all the listeners, everyone. Sorry that I could not accommodate questions and answers this morning, but there was some trouble in getting in, using the computer, where I wanted to actually play the videos by the Rinpoche. Nevertheless, what has been done, I believe, is of value and of benefit to many. And that benefit, I hope, will be shared by you, the listener, by you, the participant, for the benefit of all beings. Thank you, Sir Charles, and do have a good morning.
Thank you very much, Kasi.
May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be peaceful and at ease. May I be happy. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be well. May you be peaceful and at ease. May you be happy. May we be filled with loving kindness. May we be well. May we be peaceful and at ease.